The local government news roundup is supported this month by the National Growth Areas Alliance Emerging Growth Areas Forum. Australia is working towards 1.2 million new homes over 5 years, and growth councils are on the front line of delivering them. It's not just about land release and planning approvals, it's about getting the roads, drainage, schools, libraries and community infrastructure right from day one. And that's the focus of the 2026 Emerging Growth Areas Forum, hosted by the National Growth Areas Alliance on Tuesday the 4th of August at Hume City Council Town Hall in Broadmeadows. It's running alongside the NGAA National Congress. For the first time, council leaders from emerging and established growth areas will come together to share what's worked and what hasn't in managing rapid growth, covering organisational readiness, working with developers, building community trust, and making the case for state and federal investment. If your council is facing rapid population growth, this is a forum built for you. Registration is open now to all local governments. Head to the NGAA website, ngaa.org.au, to secure your place. Coming up, Wyndham's mayor finally succumbs to pressure and resigns. Critical votes loom at two councils on the future of childcare and family daycare services. Liverpool calling for a rethink of a $1.4 billion road upgrade. Town centre masterplans spark backlash across 3 Sydney region councils. Council CCTV systems helping police find wanted vehicles. Pushback on Hobart's short-stay rental ban. And a new CEO appointed at WA's City of Nedlands. And much, much more local government news from across Australia and beyond here on the Local Government News Roundup. I'm Chris Eddy. Welcome back to the podcast, which is brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences, and Rath Engineering Development, smarter local government systems built from real on-the-ground experience. It is Wednesday, the 22nd of July, and here's what's making news. A second Victorian mayor in a week has resigned, and this is the one many have been expecting. Wyndham City's Mayor, Councillor Preet Singh, made his resignation announcement yesterday, ending months of pressure over a character reference he wrote in 2024 for a man later convicted of child sex offences. Councillor Singh announced his decision in a video posted to social media. He faced a unanimous no-confidence vote from fellow councillors in April and calls to resign from residents, local MPs and the state government's appointed municipal monitors. Councillor Singh remains a councillor. A special meeting has been scheduled for Thursday at 5 p.m. to elect a mayor for the remainder of the term, which concludes in November. Former Greater Shepparton Mayor and current state member for Shepparton, Kim O'Keefe, has announced she will not be recontesting the seat in November. In a statement, the Nationals MP said the time has come to slow down, spend more time with family and focus on some much-needed self-care. Bayside City Council has welcomed opposition commitments to scrap Victoria's proposed 4th curbside bin for glass recycling. The Mayor, Councillor Debbie Taylor-Haynes, said it was exactly what Bayside and councils across Victoria had been advocating for. The council says it has consistently advocated for practical recycling reforms that reduce waste without adding unnecessary costs, complexity, truck movements or emissions for households. A controversial childcare proposal in Leopold is heading to a critical vote this Thursday evening. City of Greater Geelong planning officers have recommended approving a 2-storey facility planned for 127 Christie's Road, despite receiving around 60 resident objections over traffic, safety and property values. If greenlit, the 72-place centre will replace an existing residential home. Councillors will make their decision at Thursday night's committee meeting. The City of Ballarat could stop providing family daycare from the 30th of September under a recommendation before the council. Officers say the number of contracted educators has fallen from 8 to 3 in recent months, with the service now running at a net cost of $31,000 per year. A community consultation drew 32 submissions, most in favour of keeping the council-run scheme. But officers say 2 private Ballarat-based providers have capacity to take on affected families and educators. The matter is listed on the agenda for tonight's council meeting. Greater Dandenong Council has voted to proceed with the demolition of 6 local squash courts as part of its $122 million Oasis redevelopment. The leader reported that a motion to retain the facilities was defeated by the Deputy Mayor's casting vote on Monday night, breaking a deadlocked vote. 7 mayors from Victoria's Murray-Darling Basin irrigation communities are calling for an urgent meeting with state ministers over buyback compensation. The Murray River Group of Councils and Greater Shepparton City Council say the Victorian government should pause current negotiations on the Basin Sustainable Communities Fund and work with local councils to co-design tailored plans for each municipality. They say the region covers more than a fifth of the state, produces over $10 billion in food annually, and has already lost nearly 2,000 jobs from water buybacks. They say they've requested a meeting with Ministers Shing and Settle and are hoping for a response by the end of the week. And Mornington Peninsula Shire has welcomed $2.1 million in Victorian government funding to establish a dedicated assertive outreach team to tackle local homelessness. The 4-year initiative will fund 2 outreach workers to assist rough sleepers across the region. Mayor Stephen Batty described the support as progress, while continuing advocacy for sustained investment in social housing ahead of the November state election. The Local Government News Roundup is brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, which has opened bookings for the 2026 Mayoral Leadership Program, providing mayors and deputy mayors with targeted knowledge to fulfil their roles with a high degree of competency. The program is directly aligned with the mandatory regulatory requirements outlined by the Victorian Government in their Governance and Integrity Regulations introduced in October 2024. In addition to upskilling, the program presents an opportunity for mayors and deputies across the state to foster and strengthen connections and establish support networks at the beginning of their terms. While we know the mayoral elections won't be finalised until mid-November, you can register now under your governance manager or mayor and councillor's office, and that way you secure early bird prices. Find out more by heading to the VLGA website. You'll see all the details there and a registration link. That's the Mayoral Leadership Program for 2026 from the VLGA. To New South Wales now, and Liverpool City Council is urging the New South Wales Government to rethink a $1.4 billion upgrade of 15th Avenue in Sydney's southwest, calling the current design flawed and short-sighted. ABC News reported that the state plans to widen the congested road to 2 lanes each way as part of a longer-term corridor linking Liverpool to Western Sydney International Airport and Bradfield, with construction expected to begin later this year. But the council says the plan would demolish around 90 homes and fails to include dedicated bus or bike lanes. It's arguing its alternative would slow traffic, narrow lanes and create space for bus lanes from the outset. Transport for New South Wales says property acquisitions may still be needed in future stages and insists the project supports growth in an area where homes are forecast to triple by 2036. The Sydney Morning Herald reported on how Sydney councils are pushing ahead with major town centre masterplans that would add thousands of new homes, and they're sparking fierce local backlash. Plans for Bondi Junction in Waverley Council, Brookvale in Northern Beaches and Gladesville Town Centre in Hunters Hill would deliver more than 6,400 apartments, plus upgraded public spaces and retail precincts. But residents say proposed building heights are too high, warning of more traffic congestion and growing pressure on infrastructure. North Sydney Council has brought together neighbouring local government areas, New South Wales Police and Transport for New South Wales to establish a coordinated strategy targeting hoon driving and excessive vehicle noise. Convened by Mayor Zoe Baker following a roundtable with the City of Sydney and Bayside Council, the cross-border initiative focuses on targeted enforcement, shared traffic management and piloting noise detection technology alongside the Environment Protection Authority. Participating authorities aim to align policy and operational responses to address antisocial driving across council boundaries. Kiama Municipal Council has closed the Black Beach foreshore toilet facility near Kiama Harbour following extensive damage caused by vandals early on Monday morning. Fire and Rescue New South Wales extinguished a fire set inside the block, which caused severe damage to the toilets, walls and ceiling. Kiama Mayor Cameron McDonald expressed disgust over the incident and announced plans to discuss solutions for rising late-night antisocial behaviour with State MP Caitlin McInerney. Gunnedah Shire Council is calling on health authorities for direct engagement over the Gunnedah Hospital helipad. The council wants the hospital site reinstated as the primary aeromedical landing zone to ensure direct access to emergency care. To prevent cost shifting to local ratepayers, the council has placed a proposed landing fee for heavy emergency aircraft on public exhibition, while requiring formal safety audits for continued off-site landings. And Lake Macquarie City Council has officially opened the new $2.8 million Belmont Wharf, replacing a 50-year-old jetty with a modernised 71-metre structure. Jointly funded with $1.4 million from the New South Wales Government's Boating Infrastructure for Communities program. The upgrade features driven steel piles, fibre-reinforced panel decking and a new marine waste pump-out facility. Council highlighted the project as a critical piece of maritime infrastructure designed to service more than 20,000 locally registered vessels. The Roundup is brought to you in part by Symphony 3 and a late plug for its upcoming webinar on IT projects in local government. It's on Thursday the 23rd of July. That's tomorrow for most of you listening to this. Chris Webber and Simon Adcock will be sharing lessons from decades on the front line of local government IT. And if you'd like to hear more about their thoughts on the webinar and who it's for, listen to the last episode of the Local Government News Roundup if you haven't already. I had Chris and Simon as guests on the podcast. All the details on that webinar at symphony3.com. Back to the news and into Queensland, where Balonne Shire Council has appointed David Burgess as its interim Chief Executive Officer following the resignation of Michelle Clark. Mr Burgess brings over 28 years of regional local government experience to the role, having previously served as CEO for Quilpie Shire Council and Southern Downs Regional Council. He'll officially step into the position on the 4th of August to allow a short handover period before Ms Clark's departure on the 7th of August. The City of Moreton Bay has partnered with property developers to fund and expand its CCTV and licence plate recognition network in new housing estates. The Courier Mail reported that under a co-funding arrangement, developers supply site infrastructure, while the council handles camera installation and network management, aiming to support community safety alongside rapid regional growth. The system is sending more than 200 alerts each week to police when a wanted vehicle is spotted. Police have confirmed that several councils are part of the arrangement. It wouldn't confirm to the Courier Mail which councils, but apparently Brisbane is not one of them. To the north of Queensland now, where Yarrabah Aboriginal Shire Council has accused the Queensland Government of ignoring funding concerns over Indigenous employment and local infrastructure. This is according to the Cairns Post. Mayor Darryl Sexton claimed that shifts in state closing the gap priorities risk critical projects like a town retail centre. Minister Fiona Simpson maintains the government remains engaged and committed to regional support. Scenic Rim councillor Jennifer Sanders has defended the council's budget adoption with an average 10.3% increase to rates, fees and charges for minimum rates properties. Speaking to the Beaudesert Times, Councillor Sanders cautioned that failing to pass an initial budget could have triggered state government intervention. But Mayor Tom Sharp has rejected suggestions that reviewing the draft before the August deadline posed any such risk. And also from the Beaudesert Times this week, a group of Logan ratepayers have called for a public inquiry into the council over past flood mapping decisions. They allege proper governance processes were bypassed during project board meetings, though the council has strongly rejected those claims. Let's go now to Tasmania, where West Coast Council is preparing for an organisational renewal following an independent review into recent operational and governance challenges. According to a report from The Advocate, Mayor Shane Pitt says the focus will shift to stabilising operations and rebuilding workplace trust. Councillors will formally consider the report's 4-year implementation plan at their August meeting, while the Australian Services Union has urged for the findings to be made public. Hobart City Council's proposal to ban new whole-home short-stay rentals is facing pushback, with Airbnb and the Housing Industry Association lodging formal objections, according to Pulse Tasmania. They argue the restriction fails to address underlying housing supply issues, but the council maintains the measure is necessary to tackle a local rental vacancy rate, which sits below 1%. To South Australia, and former Adelaide City Councillor Henry Davis was facing a 3-month suspension and public reprimand prior to his surprise resignation last week. This is according to a leaked report seen by In Daily SA. The state's independent behavioural standards panel apparently found that Mr Davis breached standards on 3 counts of serious misbehaviour following an investigation into his filming and posting of council colleagues to social media without consent. Mr Davis, who announced his resignation on Friday to run for Lord Mayor against Jane Lomax-Smith early next year, has rejected the findings. He called the process absurd and has defended his actions as fulfilling his duties as an elected member. The District Council of Robe has voted to increase daily boat ramp fees from $18.50 to $30, alongside a 10% rise across most other council fees and charges. Mayor Lisa Ruffle has defended the budget adjustments, according to the Advertiser, citing the need to reduce the council's financial deficit and cover ongoing maintenance at the local marina. And Light Regional Council has announced the election of Martin Kennedy as the new councillor for Muddler Wirra Ward. A former police senior sergeant with 40 years of public service, Mr Kennedy brings extensive community governance experience to the role as the council progresses its regional priorities. And let's go now to Western Australia, where the city of Nedlands has named Paul Martin as its new Chief Executive Officer. Mr Martin joins Nedlands after 7 years at the helm of the Shire of Serpentine Jarrahdale and brings over 2 decades of local government leadership to the role. Mayor Leonie Browner welcomed the appointment yesterday, highlighting Martin's strong background in governance and financial management as key to advancing the city's long-term improvement plan. He'll take over the top job on the 24th of August, succeeding interim CEO Arthur Chiron. Mindarie Regional Council has rejected claims that proposed piggyback liner and leachate works at Perth's Tamala Park landfill could extend the site's life or expand its footprint. The City of Wanneroo says it will oppose any approval that might delay closure and has withdrawn support for the council's waste-to-energy procurement process. Joondalup has backed an earlier shutdown as well. But Perth now reported that the Regional Council insists the works are environmental protection measures needed to support a responsible closure by 2029. And an energy security win for the city of Greater Geraldton. It has completed a $6 million microgrid project at Geraldton Airport, securing off-grid renewable power for the regional precinct. Supported by $2 million in federal disaster resilience funding, the solar and battery system ensures uninterrupted operation for essential aviation and emergency services. Mayor Jerry Clune said the completion of the project is a significant achievement for the city, demonstrating its commitment to delivering sustainable and resilient services. Now, before we head overseas, the local government news roundup is supported this month by the National Growth Areas Alliance's 2026 Emerging Growth Areas Forum. While Australia aims to deliver 1.2 million new homes in 5 years, councils are on the front line, planning neighbourhoods and building the roads, drainage, schools, libraries and community infrastructure to match. This important forum will be held on Tuesday the 4th of August at Hume City Council Town Hall in Broadmeadows. It's happening alongside the NGAA National Congress. If your council is facing rapid population growth, this is a forum built for you. Registrations are open now at ngaa.org.au. Now to our overseas report, and we start today in the US. The new city manager of Sausalito, California, has been arrested after authorities say she tried to steal a boat from a marina dock. This is according to ABC 7 News. The Marin County Sheriff's Office says Elaine Forbes was taken into custody Saturday morning on suspicion of felony burglary. Witnesses reported unusual activity on multiple boats, including attempts to start one by manipulating levers and switches. Deputies also say alcohol on the vessels appeared to have been consumed or poured out. In a statement, Forbes' family says she's experiencing a mental health crisis and is urging compassion as the investigation continues. City officials say the council recently approved a leave of absence and will not comment further while the case is active. Let's go to the UK, where a county councillor has defected from Reform UK to the Conservatives following a dispute over municipal property damage. Former Transport Cabinet member Carl Perks resigned after urging prosecutions over the vandalising of council roundabouts, according to BBC News. The move alters seat distribution on Worcestershire County Council, currently led by a joint coalition. The UK's new Prime Minister Andy Burnham has unveiled a £340 million funding package to tackle rough sleeping, emphasising direct partnership between national and local government. BBC News reported the program aims to secure 1,200 homes and deliver intensive support for 3,000 people through municipal housing acquisition and local council delivery networks. Northamptonshire Council has rejected a request to fly the Ukrainian flag to mark the nation's Independence Day on the 24th of August. The Reform UK-led administration refused to make an exception to its policy introduced last year, which restricts civic flagpoles exclusively to British national flags. And in Scotland, Labour MP Gordon McKee has called for Glasgow to introduce a directly elected mayor to address decades of fragmented regional governance and transport issues. Writing for the Herald, McKee has outlined a push to mirror Manchester's metro model. But local authority leaders have expressed caution over the proposal, with Glasgow City Council leadership warning that creating a metro mayor would introduce an unnecessary extra tier of government between local councils and Holyrood. And finally, to New Zealand. Yes, more stories on that potential reorganisation of councils. Lower Hutt Mayor Ken Laban has backed a major proposal to merge up to 9 local authorities across the Wellington region into a single unitary council. RNZ reported that the plan, prepared by a consultancy firm, suggests combining Wellington City, Pororua, Kapiti, Hutt Valley and Wairarapa councils alongside the Greater Wellington Regional Council. To safeguard grassroots decision-making, the model incorporates 5 elected community councils to manage local assets such as libraries and swimming pools. Wanganui District Council is set to miss the August deadline for the New Zealand Government's reform proposal of local government. According to the NZ Herald, Mayor Andrew Tripe has confirmed the council will not be ready in time for the Head Start amalgamation pathway. He's proposed that the region's mayors write a joint letter to government ministers confirming a commitment to reform, but seeking an opportunity to propose a hybrid response to the government's proposal. And Christchurch City Council has announced it's installed nearly 500 solar panels on the Christchurch Art Gallery as part of its ongoing electrification program. The system will meet 20% of the facility's annual power needs, saving $32,000 per year while enhancing the council's emergency energy resilience. And that's where we pull up stumps for this edition of the Local Government News Roundup, episode number 619 for Wednesday, the 22nd of July, 2026. If you have comments or feedback, you can email us at lgweeklynews@gmail.com, or you can head to lgnewsroundup.com to find out more information about this episode, including story links and breaking news between episodes of the podcast. Our podcast is brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences, and Rath Engineering Development, smarter local government systems built from real on-the-ground experience. I record this podcast in the city of Greater Geelong, Victoria, on the land of the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation, usually 3 times a week. Another episode coming for you on Friday. Until then, thanks for listening and bye for now. Support for the local government news roundup comes from Rath Engineering Development, smarter systems for local government, like Red GMS, helping councils manage gravel pits and projects, track quality, test results, blending options and haulage, and know the true cost per tonne from day one. Rath Engineering Development can give you a one-off report that uses your existing pit data to pinpoint the best gravel sources for your next resheeting program or disaster restoration works, saving your council time and money. For local government systems built from real on-the-ground experience, talk to the team at Rath Engineering Development. Head to rathed.com.au to find out more.